Hello, welcome to Lightning Talks. We have a small but hopefully very well-formed session. We've got Petter, Urbeck, and our fearless leader Jonathan in that order. So go ahead, Petter.
Thank you very much. I would like to talk quickly about a topic I ran into a few years ago when I looked at the gaming status in Debian. And what I tried to do was to install all the games in Debian on one machine for my kids to play around with. And I discovered that the menu location of the games in Debian hasn't received a lot of attention from the maintainers, at least not a coherent attention from the maintainers. So the position in the menu for different games was not quite obvious. You would have to look around quite a bit to actually find the games you installed, which is kind of painful for graphical user interface users like my kids. For example, if you install all the strategy games, there is a meta packet for strategy games in Debian. You would expect all the games to show up in the strategy submenu, but they do not. And that's rather strange, I think. And that's just one example. The location of games do not really match their topic and or type of game at all. So it's basically random where you find a game after installing it in the menu, where you find it in the menu after installing it. So the point of this talk is simply to remind the game maintainers in Debian to try to install the game and check where it ends up in the menu, and of course also to make sure that it makes sense. And if you are going to pick a menu alternative, you should also make sure it is there we have it. It makes sense compared to or next to all the other games in Debian. I'm showing here a menu desktop entry, and this is a random one, but here you can see that the categories, which is controlling the location in the KDE menu and GNOME menu and probably all the other menus, is trying its best. But even with the game and simulation in place, in my KDE menu, it shows up in the root of the game menu and not in a subsection for simulations. I would like the game team to actually install all the games in Debian and have a look at the collection of menu entries to make sure they work and make sense together. That's the only way I know to actually make sure these menu entries make sense. In addition to the menu location, it's also very nice if the program itself is able to open its own save files if they have one. I often see programs unable to open their own programs using the graphical file browser, which is very painful for beginners and graphical user interface users. And to do that, you actually need to specify the menu, the MIME type for the programs and the MIME type for the files, both in the what should we call it, the desktop MIME type registration catalog, and in the desktop entry for the program. These things are trivial, they are very simple to do, and they are regularly overlooked by command line users like myself because we never see this information, we never use this information, and we kind of get the feeling from our own personal experience that they are not an important part of the packet, but they really are an important part of the packet for beginners. Please remember this. And that's all I had to say on the topic. Any questions?
Just looking at the IRC. Nope, I think it's mostly, well, The one question was, is Gamer Lightning real? But yes, it is. But we're going to leave that question hanging there anyway.
Okay. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you for the talk. Next up is Urbek.
It's not that I actually prepared something. Yesterday I was asked if I could do something. I was thinking, okay, 2 days ago I was on Debian Mentors and I found this so funny. And basically it was, I did a package and I did it absolutely the opposite way it is recommended and did everything differently than they told me, and it doesn't work. Can you help me? and basically I was told something like, never do this again. Don't upload substandard hard metal crap to the archive and everyone will hate you. And then 10 minutes later, oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking you're unuploading DD. So if you want to really know how bad your packages are, then put an @debian.org email address in your as a maintainer, and then you will get to know the full truth. And somehow yesterday I found this funny. Right now I'm not sure, but actually I still find it funny.
Cool.
But it's not enough to fill a lightning talk.
That was a package that you didn't use any deb helper at all. You put it together by hand using all the lowest level tools that can possibly exist. So I can see how that can these days break a few things along the way.
But I'm sure it's interesting as a proof of concept of something.
Yeah, actually it took, I think, 1 week work. Then there was one debcamp-like thingy in Italy. It took almost the whole 4 days. It was a lot of fun and it was very painful. Then I uploaded it. And it basically FTBFS on all architectures. Then I fixed it, but by fixing it, I did something else wrong. And then I figured out you need to fix anything else. So actually you are all the time fixing what you have done wrongly, and instead of doing something what makes sense. But in a way, it's fun.
Maybe, if anything, you're now a cautionary tale. You've set an example that, sometimes it's actually better to go the easy route and the more, take the road more commonly traveled when it comes to packaging and putting things together.
Yeah, actually, I'm almost convinced I really should convert it to something else.
Which package was that?
What's the name? Braille font.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
It's actually, you can make mail signatures and actually it's a nice program.
Yeah, it does sound interesting.
It's a program, not a font.
No.
Okay. I use a Debian logo made out of Braille that someone else made that I just copied and pasted in my email signature, and that's quite nice. So it's kind of cool to know that there's a tool available to actually draw those things with.
Yeah, it converts letters to bitmaps and then prints them using the Braille symbols from Unicode.
Okay, cool.
And because it does not use everything but the C standard library, it kind of invites people to do weird experiments with it. With ancient packaging techniques and...
So you can take any emoji and also turn that into like a Braille drawn version. Oh, no.
It's mostly ASCII and some German and French. It's very basic.
Cool.
The question is if I would recommend doing this.
Ooh.
Actually, The question, yeah, I would recommend building such a package because it's lots of fun, but I'm not sure if I would recommend uploading it to the archive. I guess so, I don't know.
I think this is where we get back to the proof of concept thing, maybe.
Well, in the new maintainer process, when you become an uploaded DD, there are some questions that that rely on you doing that from scratch, so that you can answer some of those questions. So,
In the past, they asked you to convert one of your packages back to using no deb helper. And other people claimed this is hazing, and why don't you ask people to clean their apartment using a toothbrush?
No, I think it's important to know the primitives of what a package. It's not that it's even that that complicated when you go that deep, but I think it's important to know
Yeah,
at least at one time how that works.
I think it's fun. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to force someone to do this in the NM process, and it's not really done anymore.
Yeah.
But actually, I found it fun. So. But it's maybe if no one else does it this way, and then you tell someone you need to do it, it's maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think it's important. I don't think it's good to recommend that someone tries that.
I think it would be interesting to tell people it's possible, and you know, if they want to satisfy their own curiosity.
Yeah, and you also have what I
as a challenge rather than as a requirement.
Yeah, I understood better how these tools work, like deb helper and what they do behind. And what I found most interesting that nowadays there are these automatic debug packages. It's actually possible to manually build them and still let the system trick into that they are built automatically. Yeah. You just need to look in the source code. I'm not sure if it was deb helper or DH. So actually one learns a lot from it, but if you try to maintain a package this way, then it's really painful. And people hate you.
And on that bombshell, can I continue to my section of the lightning talk?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to share my
Go
screen. I think this is something that people will find more fun than what Urbik is proposing. So there's this game called Caesar 3 from 1999. It was a lot of fun. One of the nicest isometric city builders of the 90s, I think. What else can I say about it? Yeah, you're in ancient Rome. You basically rebuild Rome city by city. It's got really high ratings as well. It was a very popular game. So it runs fine in Wine. I think I played it through about a year ago in Wine, and it worked perfectly. But playing old games on modern machines have some huge limitations. Like you could only run it at 4:3 aspect ratios. It only went up to 1024 by 768. And even switching between it and other apps is kind of clunky and had some issues. So someone wrote an open source implementation of its game engine called Julius. It works really well, and you can play it at native resolution. It's easier to handle in your desktop. And it's a complete. It uses the original data file, so it's not a complete open source game by itself, even though the engine is open source. And it also aims to be completely true to the original game. So the original gameplay, all the original buildings, everything is preserved as is. It's just even the original artwork on the load screen, everything. It just runs a bit better on a modern machine. And here you can see it's running at my native screen resolution and running just fine. I'm going to exit it again. But then some people felt that, it's in its form, it's such a good game to begin with. It would actually be nice to add more buildings and more features to it than just the original game that existed. So there's another fork of Julius called Augustus. And they aim to extend the game and make it do stuff that the original game couldn't do. So here's a list of stuff that it can do. You can make roadblocks so that your citizens that do specific work don't go walking somewhere that they're not actually useful and not doing the work they should be doing. You can give market special orders and some other things. The zoom controls is really nice. I'm going to quickly load Augustus, and then I can show you what that looks like too. So this is Augustus. You can load the same. You can load your Caesar 3 and Julius saved games in Augustus. But once you've saved the game in Augustus, then it has extra data that can't be used in the older games. So you should ideally not save your save games that you want to import again from Augustus. So game pretty much looks the same, but like it mentioned in the where's the marketplace? Like it mentioned in the GitHub page, you can give the market special instructions to go accept food or go fetch it or not. Just accept or not accept. I only loaded this the first time today, so this is new to me too. But what I really like about the Augustus version is you can zoom in and out, so you can almost see your whole city if you. This is a very small city, but you can zoom very far out and scroll, or you can zoom in a lot and see what your city looks like and what people are doing. A pop-up that I accidentally just dismissed that said something about my soldiers being hungry. So that's also an add-on to Augustus. So you have to feed your soldiers, make them have some kind of food depot close to their barracks. So also you get this nifty status that says how far your culture and prosperity and peace is, so that you don't have to go to the menu to see what you need to do to win this level. And there's a bunch of new stuff as well, so you can build a grand temple instead of just a small or large. I also noticed a bunch of new, where was it? Oh, you can build a bunch of different trees and parks and paths that doesn't exist in the original game. So let me just exit that again. So that's in a nutshell what Julius and Augustus is. Just a free engine fork of the original Caesar 3 game. And both of them have app images available. They run just fine. That's what I used. And I know there's also a packaging effort to get at least Julius into Debian. And I guess once Julius is packaged, then Augustus is probably not far behind. And yeah, that's it.
Grand. So thank you all very much for attending Lightning Talks. Thank you to both of you for helping me fill the session. And next up at 1:30, or on the hour if you're in India, I suppose, is Michalis Camporelis with Lightning Talks. So we'll see you there.